sometimes what causes the other woman is that maybe the wife is very impatient or very jealous. Such things like that can send the man looking for comfort outside.
It almost broke the relationship with my girlfriend, but I think she was good enough to salvage it. So I think she saw some more things as a woman that made her calm down, and she was able to push the other woman away.
If it's a strange woman, first of all, I think the focus here is the man. What does the man want? Because no woman is going to come and knock on your door and try to put herself into the home if the man doesn't welcome her. So I think it's a problem that the man and the woman has to resolve. Why is he going out there? You need to ask him. You need to try and focus on the problem because something is taking him out.
I want to say in two ways. If the person is mother-in-law, that one cannot be separated from the home. That is one. You have to try as much as possible to understand the issue on ground. Partly the woman in that house, that is mother-in-law. But if it were to be a girlfriend, all you need to do, you don't have any problem with the woman. It's your man that you have problem with. Try as much as possible to bring your man back with everything you can do, but not fighting.
Hello everyone. Today we are talking about the other woman on Amazons. Welcome. Now, Nigerians, we do not like to talk about things we deem unsavory. Dolapo, Aisha, you bear me out.
Yes.
We have a culture of sweeping everything under the carpet. I mean, I never had my mother, we didn't have that sex talk that everybody talks about that you see in all the movies, you read in all the books. It does not happen here. I can just imagine my mom sitting in front of me trying to talk about sex. I mean, and there's so many other things that we just generally do not talk about. But today, we're specific, we're talking about, yes, Nigerians, the other woman. Now, Dolako, I know you have facts and figures. I can tell you're bursting to give us facts and figures. Let's hear it.
Okay. Well, I think the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, who is the other woman?
That's
Yes.
from the beginning.
From the beginning, yes, because honestly, at one time or the other, every woman has been the other woman.
Well, I have not.
Perhaps you never knew.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I agree. Very,
You never knew.
very possible.
Very correct, Dolapo.
True.
Every woman at one point or the other
Has been the other woman.
Or the other woman.
True.
I mean, the other woman is, it affects us, women, so badly. It affects the family, it breaks relationship, it breaks marriages, and yet we do not talk about it.
Yes.
Today we are going to talk about the other woman. The other woman is not only the other woman. The other woman can be the mother-in-law.
Exactly.
Well, yes, she can be.
Yes. The other woman can be a sister.
Exactly.
And the other woman can also be somebody that you live with in the same
compound.
Exactly. The other woman is any woman who affects your home, who affects your life, affects your relationship, and has detrimental effect on your life.
We're looking too serious. I mean, I know we are talking about something extremely serious, but there's comedy to this as well. You know, when it's the mother-in-law, it does bring, I mean, home videos have done that over and over and over again. I think they've beaten that particular aspect of it to death. Because it can be comic. I mean, you have your mother-in-law who's a rival to you because she wants to maintain or retain the affections of her son. And you're the other girl from God knows where who is taking away her son.
It's a very delicate
in Africa.
to deal with when you have a mother-in-law
as the other woman.
Because the affection of a son toward her mother, his mother, is something that you cannot break.
Yes.
The son's love may be different from what he has for his mother to what he has for his wife or his girlfriend, but then you cannot break that bond.
Yes.
So you really, as a woman, you have to try and see which way you can balance this rivalry.
I'll tell you what I found. The part that hurts me in all this, I'll let you go back, is the damage to the woman. Because if it's another woman, everybody tells you you're not managing things properly. It's you that's always wrong. It's you that has done something wrong. It's you that you're not holding your marriage together. There's always, the blame is always, especially here in Africa?
On the woman.
On the woman.
To you.
Even for those women who have managed, worked hard to look like when they were still single, even after having 2, 3 kids, they still have their husbands with roving eyes, and some people want to put that to that it's nature for the man, it's natural for the man.
But we breed our boys like that.
Created to be adventurous.
Women are the ones
women,
that taught boys
you know?
such things. Women, yeah, the parents. Look at it. Your daughter brings a boy into the house at 16. What will you do?
Well, we were not allowed when we were young.
Exactly. Now, your son brings a girl to the house. It's all right. It's okay. It's fine. And that is where you start to show them the difference that for women, you have to close your legs. That's what close your legs mean. When they say sit properly, they hit you.
Yes.
I mean, protect your womanhood. But for the guys, your guy brings in one girl today, brings in another one the next day, and then the father is telling his boy, "Whoa, that's my boy." You're teaching him that that's the way to live.
Yeah,
he
but
knows no better.
But Bimbo, you have to understand one thing. You see, all those things, as far as I'm concerned, are relative. You understand? There are people who do that, and at the same time, there are people who wouldn't tolerate it.
You know the interesting thing about this? The other woman is a woman.
Just like
So the other woman
the
is
main
a woman.
woman.
So it is coming back to the woman. If a woman knows that a man is happily married, a man has a home,
Happily.
a man has children that he loves,
Yes.
and you still are amenable to that kind of arrangement, then the woman still, has a responsibility to look out and after the other woman.
Okay, both of you. I think we will never agree on a definite way to treat the other woman or accept or whatever it is, whoever the other woman is, your mother-in-law, whoever. But we'll be right back and we're going to talk much, much more about this.
At some point, I had to tell her, okay, no, you know what, you can't sleep with me this night.
The man
comfort
became
zone.
an exit zone.
Yes.
Welcome back. This is still Amazons, and we are still talking about the other woman. We have a guest in the house tonight, a very special lady. I'm inspired by her strength. And you'll understand what I'm saying very soon. Please, everyone, a round of applause for Mrs. Mercy AHIZE. Hi, darling. How are you?
Thank you.
All right, Mercy, my first question. I said Mrs. Mercy AHIZE. Should I introduce you as Mrs. Mercy AHIZE?
Yes, because I've come to know the name and love the name, so. And I've not, how do they say it?
Changed
I've
it?
not reverted to my maiden name yet.
Mercy, could you tell us a little bit about your story?
Oh, okay. I got married immediately after school when I finished from the university. I got married that same year to my husband. I had known him for a year. He had 4 kids before I married him. He was divorced. He was a divorcee for 7 years before we met, and then we got married. We lived together for 9 years. But you see, I now realize that there was a point in our relationship towards the end of the 9 years that where he travels, I'm very happy. I don't know what that could have been, but I was always at peace with myself. Well, maybe towards the end of his travel, I'll be looking forward to seeing him because he's been away for about a week. But once he comes back and he's in the house for 2 days, I become apprehensive. Not because, he was, not because he was a difficult, well, no, let me not say a difficult person, not because he was we were always quarreling or something, but it was because he used to have mood swings. He became really difficult to live with.
And you have kids as well?
Yes, I have two children for him.
That's 6 children in the same household.
Yes.
This your ex had 4 kids and he was divorced.
Yes.
What happened? They got divorced for what reason?
Well, his story was that the lady, was sleeping around with his friends. He used to do a lot of what do they call it now? Juju.
African jazz.
Jazz, a lot of jazz and all that, which was collaborated by his friends. I wouldn't have expected anything, and his family at that time. My dad tried to, tried to stop it, but at that point, I was at a point where I just had to leave the house because I had a stepmom that was on my neck, and it was really a complicated point of my life. So I just needed a break, and I think that he just came by that at that time.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Did you love him?
Yes, I did.
You did or you do?
I do.
You still love him?
I think I do, but I think we have to draw a line here. We have to draw a line here. Yes, I still do love him. I have 2 kids for him. Maybe I don't have it straight in my head what love really means right now, but I have feelings for him. I still have feelings for him.
So if there is a possibility of reconciliation, you would go back, wouldn't you?
There is where the problem lies, because I have so as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of water under the bridge. A lot of water has gone under the bridge now. It's been a year. I don't know if to call it remarried, but he has a woman living with him right now in the house. And I have my own life to live as well. I've moved on, so to speak.
No, you haven't moved on. You know why? Because you're talking about having feelings for him,
yes, I still
loving him. Then you still, it's a difficult, really, it's a difficult point in one's life if you are attached emotionally.
I just want to pinpoint something that I think is very important. Now, going back to when we first started, remember what I said about the acceptance.
But she had that.
I'm listening to her.
She had that.
And you see, the whole point is to try and shed light on the things that are important. We know the other woman exists. If you listen to the story and everything now, there was a reason. 1, she was young. Number 2, they courted for a year before they got married.
But we're on and off for 9 years.
No, they're
No, we were married for 9 years.
Are you kidding me?
She has 2 children. Yes, she has 2 kids.
No, we were married for 9 years, sorry.
She was married for 9 years, but she courted the man before they got married for a year.
year.
Now, one of the reasons, she was very young as well. She was already experiencing the other woman where she was, and she needed, the man became an exit zone.
Yes.
An exit for her. And then she walked into it. Now, if we go back to the fact where we say we need to teach our children and concentrate more and tell them that the other woman does exist, and these are the things that you need to deal with, and these are the ways that you should deal with it. I mean, even if she was in that relationship, from what she said, they were living apart. Now, that's a grant for the other woman. Let's be honest.
No, we weren't. We weren't living apart.
You used to travel a lot. And
when they were, you courted for a year, then they got married. At one point, she realized that when he leaves the house, she's happy. When he's gone off for a business trip, she's happy.
Those are signs.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, those are signs.
But you see, acceptance. She accepted it. But look at this.
I'm concerned now.
The other woman is now your mother. That's also.
I'm concerned with all this discussion, Bimbo and Dola, that the man has moved on. You haven't. The man has another woman living with him already. You do not. You are still talking about having feelings, about love, which means that you need to accept the fact that there is no possibility of reconciliation here anymore.
Yes,
except
I know.
Now you want to be the other woman.
Trust me, 1 year is a long time. A long time of grieving, a long time of crying, a long time of, hard feelings.
Heartache.
A long time of heartache, a long time of, even sometimes you're suicidal.
That's right.
You're really, really suicidal. 1 year is a long time. And if I'm able to move on after 1 year, yes, I still have feelings for him. Yes, sometimes I still feel it. Sometimes when I see something that reminds me of him, I remember, and it keeps coming back. And for the rest of your life, my dear, it will still come back. That's why I said that no
But
amount of
but
education
you have
would
taken the
prepare
time
you.
to process it.
I
You
have.
cried when you needed to cry.
Oh, please. I
You locked
have.
yourself away when you needed to lock yourself away.
Very well.
And you're at
But
the
you
point
see,
where
the
you're
thing
coming
is,
out now and
but
you're holding your head out. You're
exactly,
ready to face
exactly.
it out.
But you
Dealing
see, the
with
thing
it
is,
and moving on is
Also
going
support,
into,
I think.
yes.
Also support.
that's what I was going to say.
It's to
When you have,
another
when you have,
relationship. And
Support is also very
move on
important.
from there.
and then of course you have your family around you.
Exactly.
You have your,
Yeah.
you have
She's
your
a very
friends,
pretty girl,
trusted
tall
friends
and
around
beautiful.
you.
So she has everything.
So
going for
I
her,
mean,
and she's
everything
still
everything
young.
has to work together for you to be able to move on.
Exactly.
Yes.
You can't just do it yourself.
Oh, yes.
You need people around you.
Yeah.
You need people to encourage you every day.
Then
And I had a
you
lot
need
of
to
that.
forgive as well.
Yes,
You
of
need
course
to
you
forgive,
have to
because
get
you
to that
the release
point.
of forgiveness.
Yes, you have to get to that point where you can actually forgive him. I see him now, I talk to him, we talk, and then we just, there's no
So
hard feelings.
how about your children? Are they with you or with him?
They're with me. I took
Okay,
my
so
children.
does
that by choice?
That was by my choice. I took my children with me. I had to because
Naturally.
I'd seen him with his, of course, I went in there when I married him with 4 kids.
Yeah.
And if I must say this, one of the very strong reasons why I married him, apart from the fact that I really needed to move, but I could have moved into my sister's house. I could have moved in with, you know, a friend. Because I was ready to leave Calabar at that point. I could move.
Okay.
But you see, he had a 7-year-old child that was just so sweet. And when I remember myself in my father's house, the things I'd gone through in my father's house, I just saw myself in that girl.
Okay.
And you know, at a point, she used to, if I go there, she would just crawl into my tummy and just roll up, and she wouldn't want to go. At some point, I had to tell her, okay, no, you know what, you can't sleep with me this night. And she would start crying. So I think that was one of the reasons why I was like, okay, why don't I just, let me give something
Back to this child.
back to this child. That was how I felt. Before I now, you know, began to process in my mind that, because I was quite young, because before I could process in my mind that, oh, I was actually getting married, I was going to be with this man for the rest of my life, I need to start, you know, loving him. So it was a gradual process. It wasn't something that, oh, I wasn't in love. That was love at that crap. It wasn't for me. It was a gradual process.
Okay. You grew to love him.
I grew to love him.
Okay. It's nice to have people like this who
Come up
has been
and
through it
and help other people.
You know, who can talk about it. She's been through it. She understands exactly what it is. And you know what? She's got 2 beautiful, lovely kids. She's got it going for her, and she's still absolutely
Gorgeous.
stunning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you
your
so
story
much.
with us,
Thank
for
you very
being
much.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I'm glad you.
Not I have said, I know that there are days I wake up and I look at my husband, I just want to kill him.
Isn't there a sure way that we can keep our homes together? We are having a very emotional day today because this is something that affects the whole society, not just the homes, because everybody in a home is part of the society. Dolapo, Aisha, for me, I can't even express how I feel right now as a woman. Just thinking about going through all that. What do you think? How do we know when there's another woman? Because I've spoken to some women who say they never do. I never felt anything. I didn't realize. Do you think that's possible? Is it possible for a woman who's been married to a man for a particular time not to know that there's some other woman out there?
The signs are always there, and I think that women sometimes are too soaked up in wanting to keep the family together, and they just build this wall around the signs and pretend the signs are not there, that this is not happening.
We have another guest with us today, and she's been married for 20 years. That's a long time. Now, she must come and talk to us about, there must be some sort of magic. Because, you know, look at Nigeria today. Marriage is not like it used to be.
Yes.
So we are going to invite Mrs. NYONG BASSEY-INYANG. We're group hugging you. Group hug for 20 years.
I'm large enough.
Yes, you guys.
Lots of you to go around.
Hi.
Please sit.
Thank you.
20 years. I'm not going to ask you how old you are. You never ask a lady.
She wouldn't speak.
But you can't be that much older than I am. 20 years, ma'am.
Child prostitute.
They can hear you. So tell us, do you have kids?
Yes, I have 2 kids, a girl and a boy.
Okay. Tell me, you've been together for 20 years, and I know men always say this thing. Women don't say it. You can never eat the same kind of soup every day. You need variety. So, madam, why is your ogbono still selling?
Well, I have learned over the years to come up with new ways of making ogbono.
Oh, I like.
Put variety in your
Yes.
So that's a secret for keeping
Yes,
your man at
don't
home.
serve the same ogbono all the time on the same plate, in the same position.
Oh, okay.
Color it a bit sometimes. Sometimes take away the color.
You can put okra in
Periwinkle.
Yeah. Pomo today, beef
Stockfish.
tomorrow.
But 20 years is a long time. So tell me, well, in Nigeria of today, 20 years is.
Seriously, no, more seriously.
No, she was talking seriously.
She was.
I know.
The message was clear.
Claire,
I know,
and I got
I
the
know.
message.
Yes.
So everybody, change your ogbono. It's important.
Not the same ogbono all the time.
I know, I mean, that is the key thing. We all know that and everything. But at the end of the day, I am sure, staying with someone for 20 years is like, to me, I always say it's like wearing the same pair of shoes over and over and over again.
Okay, it pinches sometimes.
Exactly.
You get tired.
Exactly. So you must have other ways of, dealing with those mornings,
Well, I know I've had cause to talk to people, about relationships. Unfortunately, we women are not allowed to express ourselves. That's why when you watch crime stations, you see it's always a woman who snaps.
Yeah.
It's not the man.
Yeah.
Because the man can go out and sample,
You keep
and
walking
it's
around.
allowed.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at him and says, what a prostitute. Oh, but you woman tried. Even your friends who you would have expected to understand won't understand.
Yeah.
They will tell you things like, oh, it's the woman's place to keep the family together. Nobody ever says it's the man's place. I don't know why.
Because we tend to do much more when it
apparently.
comes to the home front.
That's right.
It's always the woman.
So are we saying in this 20 years we've not had, the other woman?
No. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
I have, and then I think I heard you guys were talking about
Mother-in-law.
No, there's the other woman in everything. There's the other man, the other woman, the other. They come in form of your mother-in-law, his sisters, even the kids, if you want the kids to interfere.
Yeah.
Friends, his friends,
Yeah.
male and female friends, his work. So there are so many instances, so many things that. But what I always think is, first and foremost, I try as much as possible to notice stuff. You will always know. There's no way you won't know when your man is about to stray. Or is beginning to, he's straying, about to stray, or he's already in the stray. Now it's whether or not you want to try and get the man back.
Yeah.
I've had instances where I've had to go crying to my friends. Can you imagine, But now the difference, because what they always say to me is, okay, at least he will come back and beg Abi. That's what most wives would say, or most people would say, oh, but he begged you. He at least said he was sorry. What about the ones who have never said I'm sorry? You understand? So that happens. I also have friends, married, single friends. You have the same problems. Whether you're married, you're single, a relationship is a relationship. It's the man. I always look and say it is the man who is the person. Because the woman would not feel bold enough, or the other person wouldn't feel bold enough to encroach into your space if the man doesn't open himself to it.
I mean,
So it's the man first.
There's no
And then,
crack in the wall.
you can't get that person trying to come in.
Because I know some men who are really, they play around.
Nasty.
But they
Yeah, but
play
they come
around
back
a lot.
home.
But
They don't
the
joke.
home is
Sacrosanct.
Sacrosanct. It's a
Nobody
no-go
comes
area.
in there.
They hold their family in such high esteem that if the other woman knows what's good for her, you know this is
Don't even go there.
It's not a relationship that you can take further or take anywhere. And then they pull back. There are such men. But for those who get sucked in into this relationship, for those whose family is, can be compromised, how do you keep such men from returning home and letting go of this other woman, from your experience?
You know, first, I don't think you can stop a man from doing what he wants to do. Yeah. Forget about the ogbono, different ogbono things and stuff. If a man wants to stray, he will stray. Whether or not you're giving him different ogbonos and different egusi, he will stray. Some people are just serial strays.
Well, yeah.
Desserts.
One must have a starter.
Yeah.
And a dessert.
Really.
Meal and dessert.
Really. And then sometimes, you know, we women, we don't try. But a whole lot of times, we try. Yeah. But I mean, if a man says a man is going to stray, he's going to stray. So you just pray and hope that when he strays, he will come back without added things. Like the other woman coming, meet you, throw you, or bring some bad diseases home and give to you.
Goodness gracious.
Or children.
Or children.
Okay, well, no, bring kids. But I won't take kids, really. Because there's nothing, the only times you can get away with things like that is if maybe the child's mother died, God forbid, you know. Then you can bring a child home and say, oh, I'm sorry, oh, mistake, oh, waka, open leg, something happened, pikin enter. Then you know that the child is yours. But when there's the mother outside,
It's competition.
it is so complicated.
Yeah.
How do you go about it?
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing. So I mean, it's not what you want to encourage.
How do you deal with this kind of scenario that you've painted now? You know the other woman is there. You know it's like a second home. You know this other woman already has a home that is competing with your home, and yet you do not want to leave your home for the sake of your children. You still love your husband. So how do you find a balance?
Because I was going to say I will not be in that home. I mean, if you can't. I'm a person too. What I always think is, you do me, I will do you back person, really. Even my husband says it.
Okay.
You know, I really cannot think of the fact that you would go out, have an affair. It's bad enough if you have one and I don't see the evidence. Then you come home with evidence. I really will be so pained. I don't think I'll be able to stay there. You know, a lot of things will change. I don't think
it's a betrayal.
Yes, a lot of things will change.
Yeah.
You would never be able to trust the man again.
Yes.
And then, well, the kind of person I am, my husband will never be able to trust me because he knows, oh God, this woman, what is she up to?
Do me,
You know, so I mean, but you know, really, you don't know what would happen until you're in that position. We all pray we don't get into that position. You don't know, but I know that I would like not to be there. I wouldn't want to be in that relationship. Okay. I'm looking at you every day and looking at your child from that other woman. And I'm thinking to myself, what did he say to her? Because he would have had to say something to her.
Yeah.
You know, what does he say?
Yeah,
is
what he's saying to her.
To me?
Is
That's a lot.
But do you know something? I think there was a survey that was carried out, and I think somewhere in the Western country, and what they said, they asked a lot of women about what actually upsets you about when a man has an affair or where there's another woman or something. And it came back and a lot of women were like, it's actually not the actual
act of
actually having an intimacy. It's just the fact that there is another woman who shares your time.
Yes.
You talk to, who knows what you like. You know, someone who knows your mind.
Who's hearing the same words that
you know,
heard.
Who's sharing your own. But we've also realized, we've come to realize that more often than not, the other woman on the outside is looking at you as the other woman as well. You're keeping my love from me.
Exactly.
As a rival.
And then she now begins to do things. And oh God, we women do things.
Yes.
I always tell guys, you guys are lucky. You've not met that woman who has decided that, okay, this man is my own. You know, there's nothing you're going to do about it.
Yeah.
I want you and I'm going to take you.
Yes.
So when she does that and then she decides that the wife in the house
It's a
or
problem.
the girlfriend who is the girlfriend everybody knows or the children are the things that are stopping you from giving to her what she wants.
Yes.
What if she decides to do something about it?
And there is no length desperate women wouldn't go to.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's when a woman becomes desperate.
And when you talk to the man about it, they look at you and they're like, But,
drama.
I mean, I always tell guys, the way you men react to certain things are not the ways we women. In fact, I think that's why women live longer, because you step on my toe, I would not forget. But the men are likely to forget and move on. And the very next day, they'll keep their toe there again, and you will step on it a second time.
Yes.
But we women, we don't forget. Please, we take that to our graves. We remember, I might forget the pain. No, I don't forget the pain. I might ignore the person briefly, you know, but I would not forget.
Yeah, we don't
So
forget.
when you're passing by me tomorrow, I will push my little foot in so you don't step on it.
Again, yes.
So guys don't, I mean, I think they always say women are fickle. I think it's guys who are fickle.
Do you still feel the same way about him like you did when you first
met him?
It's not that I don't feel the same way, but like I said, I was much younger. I was more tolerable, you know. I'm not as tolerable as I used to be.
Naturally.
So more often than not, a lot of things get more on my nerve than they would have before.
Okay.
So the feelings really haven't changed. I still do love him.
Okay.
I love
or
him.
in a more matured
But
way.
yeah,
you
it's
know,
not a
someone-
do or die
Someone
affair.
mentioned to me. Someone mentioned to me that after a while you need to begin to see your husband as your first child.
I don't think that's...
Maybe for some people it would work, I guess. Obviously not for you.
People, yeah. Different strokes for different folks. You should see your husband as... first, you should start off as friends and then graduate to... So that because you're friends, you know each other. You get there are so many things you're going to be able to...
talk about and stuff.
And communication.
It's key.
I'm upset I
So
say.
friendship works in a relationship. So what we're saying now is that for anybody that you're going to be with, you must be friends first and have some level of communication going on. Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Today we have been talking about the other woman, and we've heard from two different guests. One who's been in a marriage for 20 years, and one whose marriage ended after just 9 years. Are we coming to the conclusion that there's no sure way to make this right?
To deal with the other woman, you mean?
To deal with the other woman, to make sure that, be it your mother-in-law, be it his cousin, your sister, friends, another woman outside, isn't there a sure way that we can keep our homes together? Because we know that a lot of marriages break because of another woman. The other woman. Yeah. How do we stop this? How do we say no to somebody else taking away your happiness?
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, in order to solve any problems, you must understand the effects of the problems. And I think we need to try and just, highlight the consequences of the other woman. Once there's another woman, usually there's a triangle. Then follows heartbreak.
Betrayal of trust first.
Betrayal of trust, heartbreak, broken home, domestic violence. That's another thing that causes it. Emotional abuse, children suffer, there's shame, financial insecurity. These are the things, this is just a few, that we can actually mention. And then at the same time, let's highlight as well, who are these other women? Lesson teachers, you could come in from a lesson teacher,
your
nannies,
Yes. Nannies could be
friends,
a friend,
co-workers, receptionists.
The other woman is everywhere.
Your family, your sister,
Everywhere.
the mother, the sister as well. So when you begin to look at the effects and where it comes from, I think then it actually takes our attention to, okay, now I know where the problem is coming from, and I know what this problem, the effect this problem will have on me. Now, how do I deal with it?
Can you call the other woman, in this sense, not the mother-in-law, not the sister, the real other woman, to a meeting and have a talk with the other woman? And
is that what you would suggest? I guess for some people it might work.
I think personally,
Actually,
I think
I've heard of
personally,
cases.
the other woman should not even be given an audience. Because the minute you begin to actually visibly understand and accept the presence of the other woman physically, then you're dealing with something. It's easier to erase it and get over it because there is still the aftermath of the other woman.
Well,
So you deal with the person who's made commitment to you.
The way I see it, I have to be honest, the way I see it is that men will stray because we have taught them to stray. It's been accepted over the years. It's a normal part of our lives, whether we talk about it or not. So it's that you have a relationship, you're dating a boy, there's one story or the other, you guys will break up, you'll come back and you continue. It's always there. So in that case, sometimes when it's such a big, when it's such a serious, as serious as the man wanting to move out, to be with her, to leave you, to damage his home that he created with you, something is wrong.
Well, you can't, I always say everybody has freedom to do whatever they want to do. But the thing is, I mean, in any relationship, you need to compromise. And sometimes you have to leave your excesses, in order to compromise and everything. And when you look at people who are in the limelight, for example, with Victoria Beckham and Mrs. Clinton, they've been able to deal with it. However it is, they've dealt with it. And they've remained in their marriage.
Yes. Once you're friends first, you would know the likes, you would know the dislikes, you would know if he was my friend first, so if he was straying, he would have confided in me at some point. Then I know that this man has some tendency to stray, so it's no husband material for me. But then if he's somebody that really likes you as a friend, he's going to compromise for your sake. I think that's the way I will deal with it. I will deal with it talking.
Yeah.
We will have to go back to the beginning and rebuild the relationship, rebuild the trust, rebuild the love, rebuild the home. If a woman can do that, be strong enough to do that, I think you can bring back the man to the path you started.
Okay, well, we've been talking about The Other Woman today on Amazon's, and it's been interesting. We've had, an emotional roller coaster, so to speak. And if you're going through this, if this is what is happening in your home at this point in time, be strong. And if it was a love relationship, remember the man you married. You know him better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Use that.
Deal with it.
Get it.
Don't give up.
Accept it. Don't hide it, because the children know. So, thank you for being with us. We will see you soon.